The goal of this video is to define social cognition by placing it within social psychology and describing its relationship to cognitive psychology. But first I want to talk about our memory for persons, or person memory. I want to talk about some of the ways we form impressions of people, how those impressions are stored in our memory, and how they are retrieved from memory. Think about how Louis C.K. describes his memory of a specific person from his past in the short clip you just watched. He says he stereotyped gay people as promiscuous, and he formed an impression of a particular gay person from his past as always trying to sleep with him. Years later, when he retrieved this memory of that person, it still contained the attribute promiscuous. He still believed that that person was trying to sleep with him all the time. He had this impression of a person, which was based on a stereotype, despite the fact that when he examined the evidence, there was no reason to think this person was trying to sleep with him all the time. As a social psychologist, this is fascinating to me because I'm interested in people, how we think of them, and how we treat them. And what this story makes clear is that if we want to understand how we form impressions of people and how those impressions are retrieved from memory, then we need to learn about how memories are formed and retrieved in general. This is the explicit connection between social and cognitive psychology, applying what we know about how learning and memory works to the study of how we learn about and remember people. That's also a pretty good definition of social cognition. Framed like this, I think you won't be surprised to learn that social cognition was originally called person memory. A basic principle of social cognition, or person memory, is that we don't just encode, store, or retrieve information in an objective manner. Our current biases, goals, and environment can influence how we encode, store, and retrieve information. Which is to say that when we form an impression of a person, we don't do that in an objective manner. Instead, our prejudices and stereotypes color how we think of that person.